Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? Thank you for watching, and well, we just got the latest mockumentary from Tucker Carlson over at Fox, and this was in regards to the 40,000 hours of footage that he was given of the January 6th incident, the insurrection, which obviously claims there wasn't one, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And for starters, let me just at least say this, and I took, a good amount of notes just to be pretty thorough here, because there was a lot I wanted to cover. Kevin McCarthy, you are a traitor, you are a sellout, you are a disgrace to this country. The fact that you made a deal like that wasn't out of any sort of truth. There was no purpose of any moral high ground here. You just wanted to be Speaker of the House. You made your deal with the devil, and like I said, you pretty much sold out yourself and the country. All for what? For a little bit of power. Give me a break. And this is somebody that Republican voters feel they can trust. This guy, think again. So, I would at least said this. I mean, I mentioned this in a previous video. Fox is a media organization. They got no business looking at that. I believe that poses as a security risk. And they're not investigators, They're not even journalists, okay? They're a bunch of right-wing propagandists. You could have at least given the same footage to, say, like CNN or MSNBC to level the playing field, but, it's not about a level playing field. It's about looking for something that conveniently suits whatever their bogus narrative is. And in this case, just trying to dismiss January 6th, to whitewash it. And lo and behold, that is precisely what Tucker Carlson did. Now, is anybody really surprised by this? I mean, I'm not. What did they think? Like, when he got the footage, he just woke up prior to that and suddenly developed a moral compass, a sense of journalistic integrity? No. He is what he is. He's a liar, and he has proven it himself. He has admitted it in a disposition from the Dominion lawsuit that Fox is facing. Not just him, but also Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham about the whole widespread voter fraud, that they lied, which was pretty much perpetuated not only by Trump, but by Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, who, once the impact of the lawsuit hit, they both became conveniently rather quiet, rather subdued. Gee, I wonder why. I can't say it enough. I feel like I got to keep repeating it because there's just some people that just don't want to accept reality. Trump lost, Biden won. Trump is a loser. He pretty much always will be, okay? He cannot accept defeat, so he's got to constantly lie and keep on lying. Pushing the lie just to keep his base happy. Now, obviously, his base is going to eat it right up. That's fine, but more intelligent people, they accept the facts. They accept the truth. Okay? And, I just hope Dominion really does a number on Fox finances. I have no idea how that's going to turn out, but, I don't want to get off topic. So, we know that they're full of it, and this isn't some isolated incident. Okay, Tucker Carlson, by all definition, is a pathological liar. He always has been, and he always will be. So, like I said, were we really expecting any substance from this alleged investigation that he was putting? He rather wrapped it up in a few days. At least the January 6th committee took a considerable amount of time to be more thorough. And of course, MAGA isn't going to buy into that because they don't want that. They want their bogus whitewash, watered down version from their pathological liar, Tucker Carlson. And even then, he starts it off by saying in the intro of when he showed this at Fox recently, that the election was a betrayal of American democracy. Hold on, I thought it wasn't true. So was he lying then, or was he lying now? I mean, when you got somebody who lies probably more than George Santos, who knows what to believe, But again, like I said, that's the way he starts it off at, that the people were there, because they felt that the country was taken away with them. It wasn't, okay? They just wanted to believe that because they wanted their dear old Trump back in charge and didn't want to accept the truth. And even to this day, some of them are just going to live and die by that lie. They're going to take it to their graves no matter what. So, Here's some, before I get into some of the details of Tucker Carlson, let me just explain some simple facts about January the 6th, which most rational, normal people will believe and accept. Okay, it was an insurrection, period. The people that stormed the Capitol, they were Americans, they were Trump supporters. This wasn't something by the FBI that's been debunked. These people, these Trump supporters, they still are domestic terrorists. Let's just call it for what it is, okay? Now, to be fair, were all the insurrectionists violent? No. You know, some were there, they just walked in and roamed around the hallways. A lot of emphasis Tucker Carlson put on there. But therein lies the point, okay? They shouldn't have been there to begin with. When they walked into that building, they walked in there with an intent to try and overthrow the electoral vote results, okay? When they did that, they broke the law. Each and every one of them deserves to be thrown in prison. As to the specific charges and the degree, well, it varies, okay? Like I said, not each and every one of them assaulted police officers. Not each and every one behaved in a violent fashion. But and Tucker showed this at one point, but he conveniently glossed over, where, you know, you saw doors being smashed, windows being broken through, people forcing their way in, you know, barricades being forced, and the assaults on police officers, Capitol police officers. That's all real, okay? That is an insurrection. That is a coup. And one of the things he likes to just point out is, like I said, some of them went through the hallways like quietly. They weren't doing anything disruptive. He didn't put too much emphasis on the ones that were putting fecal matters on the walls. Gee, I wonder why. And the one character he liked to focus on was the infamous QAnon shaman. His real name is Jacob Chansley, the moron who was walking around the hallways with the police. Yeah, I watched the footage too and everything, and you know, at one point he pretty much contradicts himself. He begs the question, like, how did the guy even get into the Capitol? Well, when they showed them breaking through the doors, within moments later, you saw, you know, this shaman guy walk into the Capitol. That's how he got in. What's the matter, Tucker? You didn't catch that one? Okay, his own footage showed it. How stupid can this guy be? Okay. And to be fair, did some of the cops behave inappropriately? Absolutely. There's the one that they claim they pulled away the barricades and they were waving the rioters in. That was debunked, okay? They were pretty much clearing the way for the officers, okay? The video of the officers waving protesters, that was debunked. They were waving fellow officers to fall back. You know, there was one video of, you know, an officer taking a selfie with some of these rioters. That obviously is very questionable. So, but there were also cops who were doing their job, who were trying to defend the Capitol. And it was Donald Trump who conveniently delayed, you know, the national security to get there. Okay, that's on him. So, don't take my word for it. You know, as far as Jacob goes, he pleaded guilty to the charges, and it was one felony count of obstruction. He was sentenced to 41 months, and he said a lot in the closing of the trial. But one of the statements he made is, quote, "I was wrong for entering the Capitol. I have no excuses. The behavior is indefensible." Couldn't have said it better. So, you know, you can try and just put all the emphasis away from the violence and on just, you know, protesters and insurrectionists walking around the hallways, these domestic terrorists. They still broke the law. One of the things you might wonder is, why was Jacob, this shaman guy, walking around the police? Why didn't they arrest him? Why didn't they detain him or something like that? And I kind of wondered that myself, but someone also made a point is, you had an angry mob where the police weren't there, they weren't getting any support, they were outnumbered, and a lot of these insurrectionists had weapons, you know, blunt objects that they were using. One of them took a police shield and used it to force his way through the window. One of them had zip ties, obviously with the intention of taking in certain lawmakers like Pelosi and AOC. Damn those choppers. One of them even came there with one or more pipe bombs, okay? That's not a peaceful protest, all right? So, you know, the video footage shows, you know, the cops walking with the shaman. I don't know what they were thinking. I would ask them. I would go, like, just flat out. Not being judgmental, just impartial to say, why didn't you arrest him? And I'm willing to bet that's probably the reasons why. I don't know that for sure. You know who doesn't know that either? Tucker Carlson. But of course he likes to assume and, you know, make that conclusion. You know, the cops are showing him around. It was like a tour guide. He was a tourist. And in doing so, certain people I hear from the right, like Joe Rogan and Tim Pool, are like, they showed like a certain amount of outrage. Tim Pool I watched briefly. I didn't watch Joe Rogan, so I don't want to make that blatant assumption. But, you know, some people are like, the shaman was, anyone who's out there claiming that this shaman was innocent, he wasn't, okay? You broke the law, you pay the price. As I said before in a previous video, accountability. That begs the question, would it have been wise to make an arrest like that when you had an angry mob nearby? So, and Tucker also liked to focus on defending Josh Hawley, saying that, you know, labeling him as a coward, which he is, was all a sham, you know, because, you know, he was running out with the rest of the lawmakers. Nobody paid any attention to them. Well, you had a violent mob, and maybe he didn't anticipate that. Oh, but he was running for safety. Make no mistake about that, because some of these people were violent. Some of these people were dangerous. They didn't want to get assaulted like the Capitol Police did. You know, the reason they put a lot of attention on Josh Hawley is, one, because he was in support of the arrest with his infamous fist in the air. Give me a break, okay? And there was also, you know, like I said, some people have brought up to me comments about the police officers, that only one person died, Ashley Babbitt. Actually, that's not true. There were one or two other supporters. I didn't get their names. One had like a heart attack. The other one died of a stroke, natural causes. And another person got trampled on the stairs. Okay? The reason they like to put a lot of focus on Ashley Babbitt is she was shot trying to force her way through a barricade. Now, as tragic as that may be, and it's a shame that she lost her life. You know, she was a military person. She made an oath to the Constitution, and she violated that oath. And she was going through some difficult times during the pandemic. And living in California, she decided to come all the way to D.C. to aid in an insurrection, to yell, "Stop the steal." Maybe it wasn't her intent to go in the Capitol. I don't know that. But she did. And when she did that, you know, she broke the law. And I really don't like trampling on a grave. I really don't, you know. I'm not trying to judge. I'm just saying that's what she did. My sympathies go to the family and everything. But she had a choice. They all had a choice, from the shaman to each and every single one of those members. There's been over 1,000 there's been like 1,000 arrests. There's going to continue to be more. They all had a choice. You didn't have to go in there if you didn't want to. Tucker also likes to you know, put emphasis that, you know, some of the protesters in the back were just peacefully protesting. Okay, I don't know exactly how many people went in or how many people stayed out, so that's a bit of a gray area. But you still had people behaving violently, forcing their way in. You think I'm wrong? Try to imagine, okay, let's say myself and 9 other friends, 10 of us, decide to invade your household. Now, me and 4 others are forcefully breaking through the doors, we're smashing the windows, we have weapons, you know, maybe not firearms, but we have blunt objects. And some of your family members that try to keep us out, you know, we drag them out, you know, and assault them. While some of the others in the back, you know, come in through the rear, but they just walk around the house, you know, gingerly saying, "Wow, nice house." Would you call that a peaceful entrance, or would you call that breaking and entering with the intention to do harm? To burglarize, commit murder? Who knows? Bottom line is, myself and those other 9 people would be labeled as criminals. Maybe the ones that did the more forceful, violent things would get more severely punished, but it's still criminal. It's still a criminal act across the board. So let's stop trying to make excuses for these people, okay? Again, they had a choice. And there were even some Republicans that were in there that looked at what Tucker put out. That was only the first part. Supposedly there's going to be a part 2. I can't imagine it having any more substance. It's just going to be a lot more of the same stuff. A lot of conspiracy theories, a lot of whitewashing, a lot of things to just try and hide the truth. And even these Republican lawmakers said that it's BS too. And some people also, split hairs about, the police officers that died. It's true, yeah, none of them died on that day. Some were severely injured. One of them, I'm blanking on his name, who died I think it was the following day. He was struck in the head with a fire extinguisher, and he died of natural causes. Now, I don't think the blow to the head helped. And some of these Capitol Police officers, they committed suicide because of the trauma. But they're making the point that, it didn't exactly happen on January 6th, so you can't really blame the rioters. Hell, we can't. Ask yourself this, and I've made this point before, I'll reiterate. What if some of those police officers were people that you knew? What if one of them that died, whether the one that was struck with a fire extinguisher or committed suicide later? Or what if one of them survived, but was severely injured and assaulted, had to go to the hospital? That is still suffering from trauma, a form of PTSD from the incident. What if any one of those officers was, say, your father, your son, your brother, a close relative, a close friend that you grew up with, that you're very tight with? What if it was one of them? Would you still be making excuses for the rioters, trying to downplay what happened to the Capitol Police there? I don't think so. And anyone who still questions that, you know what I would love to do? I would love to put you in a room with those Capitol Police officers. Not that I would want them to assault him, but I would love to see them spew some of that nonsense. Try and make it seem like, it wasn't an insurrection, it was a peaceful protest. Try and sell them on some conspiracy theory nonsense. They would verbally rip that person apart. Even worse, I would love to put him in with some of the families to some of these police officers that lost their lives because of January 6th. If January 6th hadn't happened, I'm willing to bet each and every one of those officers that died shortly afterwards would still be alive today. So let's cut the BS. Now, of course, to anyone who's like a diehard Trump supporter, or forget about it, the MAGA crowd, they're going to eat this right up. Without a doubt. They're not going to, because it's not about facts, it's not about truth, it's about, it fits their narrative, it fits their belief. They're in the cult, so of course they're going to believe every lying piece of word out of Tucker Carlson's mouth. They're going to believe whatever conspiracy theory he spews. It was the FBI, it wasn't Trump supporters, it was Antifa, That's another example to give. Let's say, and I've used similar examples before, which again, I got to reiterate, what if it was, say, a bunch of Muslims that stormed the Capitol? I don't know what the body count would be, but it would definitely be more than one. And Trump would be calling it radical Islamic terrorists. What if it was a Black Lives Matter protest? Forget about it. To the police, it would be open season. And again, you would have a way higher body count than one. And everyone on Fox would be calling them thugs. Domestic terrorists, like they should be. Here's an even better example, a real juicy one, which again, I've said before. Let's say this happened in 2016 after the election between Trump and Hillary Clinton, where Hillary rightfully lost. I hate to admit it, but she did. What if she did the same exact steps leading up to January 6th? The press conferences, the tweets, the lies, the complaining, the whining, the false allegations of a rigged election. And then on January 6th, she showed up, with other supporters and made the exact same speeches, and all these Hillary supporters carrying Hillary flags stormed the Capitol. What would Fox say on the right? Would Tucker then look at the footage and say, no, it wasn't an insurrection. It was a peaceful protest. The hell he would. I know exactly what he would say, or I can just imagine. What if Back then, Nancy Pelosi, who would have been the Speaker of the House, what if she gave all that footage to, say, Chris Cuomo or Anderson Cooper on CNN, or Joe Scarborough over at MSNBC? What would Fox say? Oh, that, they're catering to the left-wing media. They're catering to the liberals and stuff, okay? None of you guys would be supporting it. And you know what? I wouldn't support it either. I would call all those Hillary supporters domestic terrorists. It is not a Trump thing. It is not a tribal thing. It is simply a matter of right and wrong. And everything those people did, the people in the media, on Fox, to Donald Trump himself, and all the sycophants, from Giuliani to Powell and to the others that kept pushing the lie, Mike Lindell, everyone that, helped perpetuate it, Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, they are all guilty as hell. And each and every one of those people that stormed the Capitol deserve to be in jail. So let's cut the BS. Again, you want to keep believing in fantasies, tell yourself the world is flat, be my guest. But the simple truth is, that was wrong. That should not have happened. And if you're going to take that to your grave, that's fine, that's your choice. But all I can say is, it is going against democracy, it is not patriotic, it is not American, it is a betrayal to all the values that conservatives stand for, including the GOP before it turned into this whole MAGA cult. And you have just pretty much chosen a very strange hill to die on. You want to worship that? Be my guest. And some of you even complain how afterwards Chuck Schumer, complained against Fox, ordering that, Tucker should be taken off, claiming him to be the fascist. No, the real fascist is Fox. The real fascist is Trump and the people involved in the MAGA cult that support this. You know why? Because I don't see any Russian media posting clips of Chuck Schumer. Oh, but they love to post plenty of clips of Tucker Carlson. I wonder why. So, again, you can keep telling yourself the world is flat, that, it wasn't an insurrection, but the truth be told, it was. Those were domestic terrorists. And if we don't start holding the higher people involved accountable, it can potentially happen again, okay? I'm seeing all these pawns getting arrested and held accountable. That's fine, but that's only a start. I want to see some of the bigger players, be held accountable and send a message that this is not acceptable. That a majority of the company does not support MAGA. They don't support January 6th. They don't believe in Tucker Carlson's BS. That they believe in democracy. Those are your patriots, not insurrectionists. Get that through your thick skulls, okay? Because in the end, you're only fooling yourself. Anyway, I really hope you understand. I just want to say thank you for watching.